Hey, what's up? This is Robert, and I'm in the kitchen today on Crown Driven Media. No, this is not a cooking show, but we felt like there was a lesson in what it is that I was doing here, so I had to drop everything and throw this camera in here. Listen, before we get started, here's what I want you to do. Go down to the bottom. You know how we do it every single time. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, so that you can get all the content as immediately when it comes out. Listen, today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the formula for life success. That's right, I want to talk about the formula for life success. And I'm up in here in the kitchen, I was getting ready to make some dinner for my family, and I realized, you know what, life is a lot like me preparing this meal. There's some essential and necessary things that need to happen in order for success to happen in your life. See, the most of us, when we get to doing and going and pursuing life, we think that life is just going to happen. We love convenience, and so what happens is we treat life like a restaurant, or we treat life like a fast food joint. We want to just drive through and get what it is that we want. We think life is like Burger King. You just pull up and you can have it your way. But the truth is, life is a lot more like prepping a meal inside of a kitchen. Life is a lot more like doing the work to have something prepared that you can eat and enjoy a little bit later. Here's the truth. Last week, we talked a little bit about critics, and what I don't need is for the external critics to be talking about how I'm cutting up my green onions in this room today. But I do want to share with you something about what I'm doing in the kitchen. Listen, life is like preparing a meal. There's a couple of things that you need in order to have success in life. As you can see, I got all of my stuff laid out here on the counter, and I got a recipe. And in life, you need a recipe for success. You need to know what it is that you're preparing. Let me ask you a question. What is it that you're trying to make? See, you're trying to use the ingredients of somebody else's life to make the formula of yours. You can't go and just grab everything out the pantry. I know some of y'all are super chefs, so you can grab anything out the pantry and make something wonderful out of it. But the average, ordinary person needs a recipe. They need to know what the end game is. Are you making burgers? You're gonna need some ground beef. Are you making spaghetti? You're gonna need some noodles. Are you making tofu? You're gonna need whatever tofu is made out of. But here's the reality. What I'm trying to tell you is, the truth is, if you're going through life and you want to have success, you're going to need to know what the end goal is. And that's a recipe. A recipe tells you what ingredients are necessary for you to build what it is that you're working on. The truth is, for many of us, we're working through life without a recipe, and we're wondering why we're in the same place we were 10 years ago. Some of us are in the same place we were 5 years ago. You know why? Because you're just boiling water, and you don't know what you're boiling for. Are you making rice, noodles, eggs? What are you boiling the water for? Here's what I need you to do. Get you a recipe. Ask yourself, what is my purpose? What is my goal? Where am I going? What's the end game for this thing? Get yourself a recipe, and then get all of the ingredients. Yep, that's what I'm telling you. If you need a mentor, get your ingredients. You need an education, get your ingredients. If you need some startup capital, get your ingredients. If you need a spiritual guide, that's right. You need somebody like a pastor, a leader, a disciple who can make another disciple. You need to get your ingredients. Let me tell you something. If you don't have the resources necessary, I'm not saying you got to have everything together, but excellence is doing the best you can with what you have. Do you have the necessary ingredients to pick up what you need? If you don't, then maybe it's not time to cook. Let that settle and think about that. If you don't have the necessary ingredients, maybe it's not time to cook. Maybe you just need to study the recipe. Maybe you just need to look and research and think about what it is that you need. And you need to find out, how am I going to get the next ingredient? How am I going to add this to the recipe? How am I going to add what it needs to be? You can have the recipe without the ingredients, but guess what? You ain't making anything. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to ask yourself, hey, do I have the recipe? Do I know what my end goal is going to be? Do I have the ingredients? Do I know what's necessary to make this happen? Then here's the last thing. Here's the best part. You gotta have the patience. That's right. This ain't fast food, baby. You can't just go to the drive-thru, order it in 15 seconds, go through if you go into a good place, and they hand it to you in exchange for some money. No, you can't buy this. You need patience. You can't just order this at a window. You need patience. In order to have success in life, you gotta let it simmer. In order to have success in life, you gotta let it go into the oven and sit there for a little bit. Matter of fact, there ought to be some of y'all that are preheating your destiny. This is what I mean. You ever had to put something in the oven, and in order for you to put it in the oven, the recipe calls for you to preheat the oven on 450. You know what preheating means? Preheating means you turning up the heat and ain't nothing in the oven. That's right, there's nothing baking, there's nothing changing, there's nothing going on. Only thing that's happening is preheating. Some of y'all in your life right now, you're so impatient because you won't wait on the preheat. Some of these experiences that you're going through, and you think there's nothing happening, there's nothing changing, this all looks the same. This is the preheating. Here's the reality. You got to go through the preheating, so when all the ingredients come together and the recipe simmers and makes everything look good and smell good, you know what you do? You take those ingredients, you stuff them in the oven. Then you wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but you wait as long as the recipe tells you that you need to wait. And then when you pull it out, you let it cool. That's right, you can't just put your hand in a hot plate. You'll burn it. You'll burn your tongue. You gotta let it simmer. Here's what I'm trying to tell you, that this thing requires a recipe, an end game, requires ingredients, the resource, and it requires your patience. Stop trying to rush success. Success don't happen overnight. There is no such thing as an overnight success. There's only a success that you heard of overnight. Listen, I'm excited about what 2020 is gonna bring. I'm pumped up, as you can tell. I'm kind of hungry too. So let me get back to cooking, but until then, let's do the next right thing and let's be driven by the crown. Click that subscribe. We'll see you next week.